The war is not for territory. It is not for resources. It is not for money. The war is for memory. You wake up every morning to a world that has been slightly rewritten. The definitions of words have changed overnight. The history books have been updated to remove the problematic figures. The search results have been curated to show you only the approved reality. The algorithm feeds you a stream of current truth, and if you remember a different truth from yesterday, you are told you are mistaken. You are told you are crazy. You are told you are dangerous. This is not a glitch in the matrix. This is the ideological trap. We are entering the year of the fire horse. As we have briefed you, this is the year of the great burning. But fire does not just burn cities. It burns books. It burns statues. It burns the past. And simultaneously, Saturn enters Aries. Saturn is the censor. Saturn is the wall. The collision of these two forces creates a ministry of truth. The fire horse wants to burn the old reality to build a utopia. Saturn wants to wall off the dangerous reality to maintain order. In 2026, truth becomes a contraband item. It becomes a hazardous material. To speak it is to be canceled. To hold it is to be suspect. To teach it is to be an enemy of the state. Most people will fall into the trap. They will either become the zealot, burning the truth, or the heretic, screaming the truth and getting burned. Both lose. The zealot loses his soul. The heretic loses his head. There is a third path. It is a path walked by the monks in the Dark Ages. It is a path walked by the dissidents in the Soviet Union. It is the path of the Clerisy. The Clerisy is not a political party. It is a class of guardians. It is the group of people who decide that the survival of civilization is more important than the survival of the ideology. They do not fight in the streets. They do not fight in the comment section. They preserve, they take the seeds of truth, and they hide them in the basement. They wait for the fire to burn out. And when the smoke clears, they are the ones who have the blueprints to rebuild the world. This is a strategic briefing on how to join them. This is a guide to preserving your mind in an era of mass psychosis. To understand the strategy, you must understand the weapon. In 1949, George Orwell described the memory hole, a chute where inconvenient documents were dropped to be incinerated. In 2026, the memory hole is automated. The fire horse energy drives a desire for purity. The new city, the digital realm, demands a clean history. A history without oppression, without error, without bad people. But history is oppression, error, and bad people. To remove them is to remove the lesson. In 2026, you will see retroactive editing. Digital books on your Kindle will be updated to modernize the language. Context collapse. Historical events will be reframed entirely through the lens of current ideology. The nuance will be stripped. Algorithmic shadow banning. Facts that contradict the narrative will not be deleted. They will simply be made unfindable. They will be buried on page 10,000 of the search results. This creates a floating present, a society that lives in a permanent now, untethered from the past, is a society that can be programmed to believe anything. If you do not know who you were, you do not know who you are. The trap is to engage with this process. When you see the lie, you want to scream. You want to post the correction. You want to fight the bot. Do not. The system feeds on engagement, even negative engagement. When you fight the lie in the public square, you amplify the lie, you give it oxygen, and you mark yourself as a target for the Saturnine censor. The Clerisy does not argue with the fire. The Clerisy fireproofs the library. The first step of the Clerisy Strategy is physicality. You must accept that the digital is compromised. The cloud is someone else's computer, and someone else is now the censor. If your knowledge exists only on a server, you do not own it. You are renting it from a landlord who hates you. You must build the analog archive. 1. The library of the real you need to buy books, not digital downloads, hardcovers, paperbacks. Focus on the 4 olds that the firehorse attacks: biology, books that explain anatomy, genetics, and evolutionary psychology before 2020, history, primary sources, biographies written before the current era, maps that show the old borders, literature, the classics, the books that are being banned, the books that contain dangerous ideas like merit, heroism, and tragedy, skill, how to farm, how to build, how to heal. These books are not just for reading, they are artifacts. They are proof that a different world existed. When the internet says, "We have always been at war with Eastasia," the book on your shelf says, "No, we haven't." That book is an anchor. It keeps you sane. 2. The cold storage. You must download the internet. Hard drives are cheap. Buy terabytes of storage. Download the podcasts. Download the lectures. Download the Wikipedia dumps from before the edit wars. Store them on drives that are air-gapped. Disconnect them from the Wi-Fi. Put them in a Faraday bag. This is your ark. When the splinternet fractures the web in 2027 and the Great Firewall goes up, you will have a copy of the old world. Preservation is useless without transmission. A book in a vault is dead unless someone reads it. The firehorse attacks the schools. It turns the classroom into an indoctrination camp. It turns the university into a factory of ideology. If you send your children to the system in 2026, you are sending them to be reprogrammed. You are sending them to be turned against you. The Clerisy must take back the mandate of education. 1. The kitchen table campus. You must become the primary educator of your lineage. This does not mean you have to homeschool full-time, though that is best. It means you must provide the counter-curriculum. Every night, you must undo the damage of the day. They told you X. Here is the book that explains why. They told you feelings matter more than facts. Here is the logic of the situation. You are inoculating them. You are giving them the antibodies to the mind virus. 2. The invisible college. You cannot do this alone. You need a cohort. In the 17th century, scientists formed the Invisible College to discuss ideas that were dangerous to the church. In 2026, you must form the Invisible College to discuss ideas that are dangerous to the state. Find the other parents. Find the other thinkers. Meet in person. Never on Zoom. Never on the phone. Create a salon. A dinner party where the phones are left in a bucket by the door. Where you can speak freely. Where you can laugh at the absurdity of the world. This laughter is crucial. The ideologue has no sense of humor. Laughter is the sound of freedom. This network is your intellectual lifeboat. When you feel like you are going insane, when the gaslighting of the media becomes too intense, you go to the Invisible College. They look you in the eye and say, "You are not crazy. We see it too." That validation is worth more than gold. How do you survive while holding contraband truth? You disappear. As we discussed in the Gray Man briefing, visibility is death. The Clerisy does not wear a uniform. The Clerisy does not hold a sign. 1. The lip service. In the public square, the office, the school, the internet, you practice strategic compliance. When the HR department demands you attend the seminar, you attend. When the mob demands you nod, you nod. You do not fight them. You do not argue. You say the words that are required to keep your job, to keep your bank account, to keep your freedom. This is not cowardice. This is OPSEC, operational security. You are a spy in enemy territory. If you reveal your true allegiance, you will be captured. Your goal is to survive the occupation, not to die in a suicide charge against a tank. 2. The esoteric speech. When you must speak the truth in public, you speak in parables. You learn the art of Straussian reading, writing between the lines. You use metaphor. You use irony. You use history. This reminds me of the French Revolution. The normies will think you are just talking about history. The initiated will know exactly what you are saying. You signal to the other members of the Clerisy without alerting the censor. This is the dog whistle of the sanity. The final trap is internal. The system wants you to outsource your cognition. It wants you to use AI to write your emails. It wants you to use GPS to find your way. It wants you to use the fact checker to know what is true. If you use the machine to think, you will think like the machine, and the machine is programmed by the ideologue. The Clerisy practices cognitive sovereignty. You must rewild your mind. 1. The deep work. You must regain the ability to focus for 4 hours without a screen. The ideological trap relies on a short attention span. It relies on the headline mentality. If you can read a 500-page book, you are immune to the slogan. If you can hold a complex, contradictory thought in your head for an hour, you are immune to the binary. 2. The trivium. Go back to the basics of classical education. Grammar, logic, rhetoric, grammar, knowing what the words actually mean, not what they say they mean. Logic, knowing how to detect a fallacy, the straw man, the ad hominem, the false equivalence. Rhetoric, knowing how to persuade. The system uses rhetoric to bypass logic. You must use logic to dismantle rhetoric. When the politician speaks, do not listen to the emotion. Diagram the sentence. Find the premise. Find the flaw. This is intellectual self-defense. The mandate, the keeper of the flame. Why do we do this? Why not just give in? Why not just accept the new reality? Because the fire horse burns fast. The year 0 cannot last. Reality always wins in the end. You cannot farm based on ideology. The crops will die. You cannot build bridges based on feelings. The bridges will collapse. You cannot run an economy based on lies. The money will evaporate. The collapse is coming. The new reality will hit the wall of hard reality, Saturn. And when it crashes, the people will wake up. They will be hungry. They will be confused. They will be desperate. They will look around the ruins of their utopia and ask, how do we fix this? How do we grow food? How do we build? That is the moment the Clerisy steps out of the shadows. You unlock the library. You bring out the hard drives. You bring out the blueprints. You say, here is how we used to do it. Here is what works. You are the bridge over the dark age. You are the carrier of the genetic memory of the civilization. If you drop the torch now, the future will be dark forever. But if you shield it, if you cup your hands around the flame and walk through the storm, you can light the fire of the next renaissance. The Clerisy Strategy Summary. Archive. Buy the physical books. Download the data. Secure the hard copy. Educate. Teach your children the forbidden truth at the kitchen table. Network. Build the invisible college. Find your tribe. Camouflage. Be gray in public. Be sovereign in private. Endure. Wait for the fever to break. The ideological trap is designed to make you crazy. The Clerisy Strategy is designed to keep you sane. Do not fall for the bait. Do not fight the fire. Be the stone that the fire cannot burn. This is Prescient. We are watching, and we are reading. On this channel, we cover a wide range of topics similar to this one. If you enjoy this type of content, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Otherwise, we may never see each other again. See you again soon, dear viewer.